15 all.
Both players choosing to play quite a lot of the low chip lobs, and that set up the big forehand from dechy. Remember, it's very awkward in the wind to hit overheads.
It's really neat
15,
play
sir.
by dechy. This one landing right in the angle here. And the important thing is she's camped on the net. So that is academic.
Thirty all.
Only the second time in the match that Novotna has served and volleyed. Something that she didn't do much the other day either.
Now then, a serious point against Novotna here. Great level of the wind. And how sensible I think Novotna was not to try a stop volley then. If it had gone wrong and she'd been passed. Wise old head, I think, to keep the ball deep.
Remember, it was a chip lob again that gave Jana the opportunity to finish the point off with that backhand. Every time approach to the backhand side of Novotna, and virtually every time she plays that chip lob on the backhand side. Pretty good approach shot. Possibly could have been a little bit deeper, but Novotna should have been blanketing that line. That was the easiest shot for dechy to come up with there, and has another break point.
That was a bad toss. Lower than usual, too far right.
advantage, Miss Novotna.
You'll see a lot of times the two-handed backhand, the ball just a bit too far away from her because of the gale cross court.
Okay, Miss Novotna. Two games all, first set.
So Novotna safely negotiating a couple of break points.
Love 15. Love 30.
Well, if she keeps doing that slice lob up into the wind, she may get a few bad smashes back as a dividend, but it's not a very attacking shot.
Love 40.
So in big trouble now, dechy.
Fifteen 40. Again, Miss Novotna. Novotna leads 3 games to 2, first set.
Pretty good last point from Novotna. This is at 15-40. Very deep forehand return, pushes dechy back. The slice backhand that we've gotten very used to. You can see the wind really pushing it out there and dechy having to go with the one-hander. And now the approach. It's always a little dangerous to go back cross-court, but dechy had to cover the line, and the wrong footer ended up being pretty good play. Direction of serves in matches is something that's fascinating to keep a look at. Most players like patterns, and you're going to see both players preferring to hit certain serves. This is Yana Novotna. You can see there on the, especially the ad side, she's gone out wide to the backhand side of dechy 9 times, only 1 up the center. And for the young woman from France, it's the other side of the court that has quite an imbalanced situation. There's not been one backhand return that Novotna's had to hit on the deuce side, and a little bit of the opposite on the ad side. So dechy preferring to serve most of her serves out wide, trying to keep her opponent away from the open court.
Might go to cover in a minute.
Play suspended.
She's looking up there because it's spotting with rain at the moment. And I think that is the end of play for the moment. And the reason, of course, they do this is that the longer they leave it, even half a minute, if the rain gets heavier, it puts the court out of action for a long time. You just have to feel sorry for these spectators.
That might be obtained from the glare of the fierce sunshine. They actually had to wear a straw hat. In 1887, when Lottie Dodd arrived at Wimbledon, she was able to play in a much shorter skirt than had otherwise been allowed. So she actually could wear a calf-length skirt because she was still a schoolgirl. And that enabled her to move a little more, I think, than those ladies who had to wear ankle-length skirts. In 1919, the great French tennis star Suzanne Longlong arrived at Wimbledon like a breath of fresh air, really. And she wore a loose calf-length cotton frock, no sleeves, with a U-shaped neckline, no petticoats or corsets underneath, and soft canvas shoes. And she leapt around the court in what was considered a quite shocking manner. But because she was so unencumbered and she was a wonderful player, she got away with it.
America's Helen Wills was the next great champion, and like all her contemporaries, she benefited from the greater freedom of movement allowed by the more relaxed attitudes.
The distinctive look of the Helen Wills was the eye shade that she wore, obviously to keep the glare of the Californian sunshine from her eyes, but she brought that to Wimbledon, and very soon all the lady players were wearing the eye shade as opposed to the bandeau. Helen Jacobs was the first lady to appear at Wimbledon on centre court wearing shorts. And this caused quite a stir. Even though they were very long shorts, they went right down to her knee. They were man-tailored shorts, and they had a blue stripe up the side. But that was it. And then after that, the shorts got shorter, and certainly with Alice Marble, who arrived wearing a very natty pair of shorts from America, and certainly the way then was clear for short shorts and short skirts as well.
The time was ripe for the emergence of a tennis couturier. Teddy Tinling filled that role with great imagination.
He decided in 1949 that he was going to make the tennis clothes of one particular lady, Gussie Moran, a little more feminine, and he did this by adding a little bit of lace to the edge of her knickers, and it was still, everything was all white. And then as she served, you just saw this little delicate piece of lace, and this caused a great stir at Wimbledon. And he then went on to design a whole collection of wonderful tennis dresses for all sorts of tennis stars in the 50s and 60s, all the British winners, Anne Jones, Angela Mortimer, and later on Virginia Wade, all wore costumes designed by Ted Tinling.
Then, in 1985, the all-white rule was carried to ridiculous lengths by, well, Anne White.
Today's tennis clothes are fashionable, but comfortable, made of new lightweight materials. Some players prefer a coordinated look with shorts and a shirt. But interestingly, I've noticed that the tennis dress has crept back a little, sometimes maybe worn with cycling shorts underneath, or a bodysuit underneath, or something like that. So what is going to come up tomorrow, one can only guess.
Tennis fashion down the ages. John Barrett with that report on the Wimbledon Museum. Let's have a glimpse at centre court. The chaps are out there, and it looks as though they are going to remove the covers shortly. The rain has certainly stopped, and as soon as we can, we'll be back with Henman and Courier on there. 2-1 to Courier with a break in the first set. That's all they've had time for today. The play was due to start there at 1 o'clock. It is now very nearly 2:45, and they've only got 3 games out of the way so far. Are they doing it, or are they thinking about it, or is there a discussion? There might be a focus group making the decision. You never know. But they're leaving it on, aren't they, at the moment? Well, have they heard something that I haven't heard, that there's another little shower on the way? We don't seem to have that information here at this nerve centre.